Hi everyone, it's Crystal from Crystal Creates Chronicles, and I'm here with another scrapbook layout. And today I'm going to be doing a layout that is with the Becky Higgins Design I believe. It's the 6x6 square pockets of 4. So I have this kind of Valentine's Day paper here that I'm using with these arrow hearts, as well as I'll flip it over in a moment and you'll see the other side has the pink and red hearts. Now, while this layout is not a Valentine's Day layout, it is a date night layout of my husband and I going to a tufting class and creating a rug here of his favorite soccer team, Arsenal. So that's why I kind of chose these papers. I knew I wanted red as well as maybe black. And then I just found when I was looking through my papers, my 12 by 12 papers, I found that one and I thought that would work perfectly. And now you see me pulling off here my, it says tufting night. What I did actually was I made this with my iPad and my Cricut machine. So I wrote on my iPad in Adobe Fresco and then I transferred it to Adobe Illustrator to kind of fix up some of the lettering. And then I changed it to a CVC or CVG file where I could then have it cut on my Cricut Joy. And I found that silver mirror paper in my stash and decided to use that for the lettering there. Also, I wanted to use that lettering, but it felt like it didn't fit quite or show up that well on just the black and white arrows there. So I'm going to add some layering here with some different colors. And so I just went through my stash and found some pink and red papers that could work. And so I'm just trimming those down to add on some layering here of the papers to build. So gonna just kind of figure that out and arrange the papers how I want them. And also I have these little labels here that had that silver mirroring paper as well to work. So I'm just gonna glue them down here. And the photos when I developed, I used my Instax Square printer to develop those. So when I was making this layout, I knew what type of photos I wanted to use based on the photos since I had some that were in landscape and portrait mode. Also, I'm distressing those papers there just to give it a little bit more texture to this square here and to layer behind that pink heart paper. Tucking that little silver tab behind. And now I'm just going to glue down my lettering here of Tufting Night. And like I said, I did use my iPad to write this out. And then I transferred it over to Adobe Illustrator to then uh, export it as a CVG file that could easily cut then in the Cricut Joy. I used to have a silhouette, but I got rid of it because it was not working that well with my Mac anymore. And just this past several months ago or a couple months ago, I bought the Cricut Joy just to add some different embellishments and some more uniqueness to my layouts here since I got rid of my old die cutting machine. Now I'm just going to come around to these different squares and build some more layering here with different cards and scraps of the papers. So I'm just kind of going to fuss around and see which I thought would work. And I was wanting to use this extra scrap of that silver mirror paper. I thought about using it there in that top right square, but then you're going to see here in a moment, I'm going to change it around. So I did go through the rest of my scraps and I had this little heart or half of a heart that I had used in a prior layout with my new Jeep. And as I was looking at it, I realized the little point down there would make a great corner piece to go behind the photos. So that's where I'm going to go with this layout. I'm going to add some different corner angles here. So I'm going to cut down that mirror paper, foil paper kind of thing. Cut those into little triangles to make little triangle corner pieces and just layer those up behind the different photos. So I'm just going to kind of lay stuff out to see how it looks before I start gluing it down. And then kind of just pulling some of the fringes of the paper that were there. I need to change my blade on my, uh, what is it called? Oh my gosh, the paper trimmer that I have. I need to change my blade on it. Anyways, so I'm just kind of here fussing with the layout and where I want the photos to be. And then I'm going to do the same down there in that bottom right corner. And I had, when I went through my cards, my my 4x3 cards there, I found that one that had the red, red outline with the lines and the little stars down the bottom. I thought would be perfect for journaling and to add to that bottom right card to go with the photo there. And then I'm just going to tuck that mirror paper there. And then I'm going to trim down that rest of that heart here to make it as well as a little kind of almost 3x4 card as well to kind of tuck behind the photos there on the bottom left. And again, going to pull some more paper scraps that I have and just add some more layering behind these photos. As well as trimming down some of the papers again to make those triangles to have these little corner anchors behind photos. And then I didn't make all the triangles the same size. Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little smaller. As you can see, I was trying to figure out if I could use the rest of that pink there corner piece, but then I decided just to go with this uh, strip here and tuck it there up there on that top right corner photo square. Gonna trim off that excess as well. And as I was creating this layout, it was kind of just moving things and seeing where it would work. I really didn't have a design in mind. The only thing I had going into this layout designed was the title there, the tufting. I knew I wanted to use my own lettering. Kind of getting the inspiration from Ali Edwards embellishments, since she has a lot of it in her own lettering, and I wanted to be something that was a little bit more unique to myself and to make it my own. So I was kind of playing around with how I could change my lettering into die cuts as well. So that's kind of where this whole layout kind of came from, really. And then it was just kind of just laying down papers and seeing how they felt, wherever they looked. I felt like they worked. Using that branding strip there, just kind of tucking some more pink behind this layout. And originally, I actually planned to have more. I wanted more red in this layout, but I ended up using a lot more pink than I thought I would, which is fine. I don't mind how it came out. Like I said, it was a date night, so I know it looks more of a Valentine theme um, colors, but it did take place in late May, I believe. We went, or in May. Um, Even though I'm using a lot of more Valentine kind of stuff. But anyways, it works out. It's a date night. It still has to do with kind of the theme of those. I have these hearts too from, I think they're old Studio Calico hearts, like foamy heart stickers. And again, they're a Valentine theme set, but I just wanted to use them since, again, it's a date night. Gonna trim off that excess there. And then this page did have minimal embellishments here. It's just more paper layering. A little chipboard piece that I had that is kind of red, adding some more little red accents there just to get a little bit more red into this layout. And I'm kind of going to go through my cleanup, and then I'm going to go through and look to see if I have any more embellishments I can use. I have this little black and white washi tape that I have, so I'm going to add a little pieces, strips to tops of a couple of these photos. And again, here you see me pulling out my bag of just like random embellishments. I have a bunch of these banners that came with a kit or somewhere from something, and they're in pink and red. So I'm kind of going through them to see if any of them would work in this layout. Again, just trying to lay things down to see where they feel like they would work. I did like that one up there at the top, and I think that'd be a great place to put the date which I will do later on, kind of going through, looking through more of them to see if there's any more that I could use here in this layout. I pulled out that Together, um, what is it? Vellum, or not vellum, plasticky kind of die cut, and thought maybe I could use it. No, these banners, trying to use them, labels, anything I could just trying to see, like I said, where it would fit and would work in this layout. And then in a moment, you'll see I kind of also pull out some brads. I was trying to add some a little bit more texture to this layout to see what would work for me. Tags, like I said, this layout had no kind of plan. I didn't honestly even know if I was even going to record this layout when I began it, making it, but decided to. So again, just flipping through, going through, seeing what I have. There's a little banner that I had that was silver, but I ended up, I don't think I put anything else on here, just kind of quickly going through. There's not many little die cuts that I used for this layout. So just gonna glue down that little banner, the one that I chose, and then like here I said, I pulled out some brads that I've had for years. Um, Hobby Lobby brads, gosh, probably from like 13 years ago. Trying to see if they would work in this layout. I just couldn't figure out where I would have wanted to put them. So then I end up pulling out some sequins, actually. I'll pull out those in a moment. I actually had pulled those to the side just in case of using those if I wanted to use them. So I chose to go with the white ones that I have. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out on each of the little squares, 6x6 squares. I do go by the rule of threes a lot when I do stuff. So I typically, if I do put like these little sequins or stitching or any other little things, I try to cluster them in threes. So, and also in a triangle moment to get your eyes, um, just kind of the design rules of three, and then in a triangle or in a diagonal position, kind of those composition rules. So just gluing down this little sequence there with some Eileen's craft glue that's clear. And then I believe I'm going to move on to my journaling here in a moment after I finish gluing these down. Yes, I'm going to put the date on, and then I'm going to go into my journaling, which I dropped it out and just then I was writing it down, talking about how it was a tufting night. My husband and I found this class here in Houston that you could do making tufting and creating a rug. And we decided, of course, we had to create a rug for his favorite soccer team, Arsenal there. So let me know if you're an Arsenal fan. And then that will be pretty much for this layout here. I thank you guys for watching, and like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or have any comments, post them down below. Thanks. See you next time.